You are the end of time. You think it's some like God. All the river nights that will stand back.
Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive. We are celebrating Indigenous Month this time around.
Yeah.
And not just by, looking back, but by actually exploring how Indigenous communities are using technology to really make their cultures even more vibrant.
Yeah.
You're not going to believe some of the stuff that they're doing.
It is really interesting when we often think of like tradition and technology as like these opposites.
Yeah.
But for Indigenous communities, it's about like weaving them together.
Yeah.
It's about using those tools to carry wisdom forward.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like our friends at Thunderbird Group.
Yeah.
They do such incredible work in this space.
Absolutely.
And they put it perfectly in their message for Indigenous Month.
Mm-hmm.
They talked about embracing life, culture, and technology.
Yeah.
And they're putting it all into action with their new film that we'll talk about later.
Yes.
But first, let's dive into some examples from their message. Like, some of this stuff really blew my mind. They highlighted how digital storytelling and art platforms, specifically ChatGPT,
Okay.
are being used in ways you might not expect.
I think that it's not just about creating cool art.
Right.
I mean, that is definitely happening. But it's about empowerment.
Again? Yeah.
Artists are using these tools to like incorporate elements of their heritage,
Right.
like color palettes based on traditional dyes,
Wow.
symbols from their ancestors, even concepts of like quantum entanglement.
Quantum entanglement. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like physics. Right.
Right. And some Indigenous cultures have understood these concepts for centuries.
Oh.
They've always seen the interconnectedness of everything. And now artists are expressing these ideas in like digital art, bridging the ancient with the modern.
That's incredible. And it's not just visual art, right?
No.
Because Thunderbird Group mentioned something called Indigenous prompts. What are those?
Think of them as like these creative sparks that are designed to guide people in using AI tools like ChatGPT in a way that aligns with Indigenous values.
Okay.
So, for example, there are prompts that help you generate poems in endangered languages.
Oh, wow.
Or write stories that incorporate traditional storytelling techniques.
So you could use ChatGPT
Yeah.
to create something that sounds like it came from an elder
Right.
from generations ago.
Absolutely.
That's incredible. It's like breathing new life into ancient voices.
Yeah. And that leads us to another mind-blowing development. Some tribes are actually creating AI language models
Whoa.
specifically for their own dialects.
Hold on.
It's like having a digital version of a fluent speaker.
So you're telling me they're training AI to speak languages that are on the verge of disappearing. How does that even work?
So AI language models learn by analyzing huge amounts of data, in this case, recordings of native speakers. By feeding the model enough examples,
Okay.
it can start to understand the nuances of the language, like the grammar, the pronunciation, even the cultural context.
So it's like teaching a computer to speak like a member of the tribe.
Exactly.
That's wild. But wouldn't that be super complicated
Yeah.
to create a whole separate AI for each language?
It is a complex process. It requires a lot of data, technical expertise.
Okay.
But the payoff is immense. Imagine a young person growing up disconnected from their ancestral language,
Yeah.
being able to interact with an AI that speaks their grandparents' tongue.
Wow.
It's like this bridge between generations.
Yeah.
A way to reconnect with their heritage.
That's powerful. It's like taking all this ancient knowledge and making it accessible
Yeah.
in a way that younger generations can actually connect with.
Mm-hmm.
They're using technology not just to preserve the past,
Right.
but to make it relevant for the future.
Exactly. It's not about replacing human connection. It's about creating these new avenues for learning and sharing. And this brings us back to how Thunderbird Group is bringing all of these ideas to life in a truly innovative way.
Okay.
With their upcoming film, DWD Codewalker.
Oh, yeah. They're taking all this amazing tech we've been talking about
Right.
and weaving it into a story. Tell me more about that.
So from what we've gathered, the film follows a young Navajo protagonist
Okay.
who finds himself teamed up with a sentient AI droid.
Wait, hold up. A A sentient AI droid.
Yes.
Okay, I'm officially intrigued. What's the story all about?
That's where it gets really interesting. The story takes him on a journey of self-discovery.
Okay.
Unearth ancient wisdom that not only changes their lives,
Okay.
but also impacts the world around them. One initially designed for military use.
So it's not just about, like, cool tech.
Right.
It's about how that tech connects to something deeper,
Yeah.
something ancient.
Exactly. Thunderbird Group is showcasing how technology can be a force for cultural preservation and a platform for sharing these powerful stories.
With a wider audience.
I love that. It's not about rejecting technology,
Yeah.
but finding ways to use it to empower and share cultural heritage. It sounds like they're really pushing the boundaries of storytelling, blending those traditional elements with cutting-edge technology.
And that blend is where the magic happens.
Yeah.
They're exploring some really complex themes.
Yeah.
Identity, belonging, the relationship between humanity and technology,
Right.
all within a story that's rooted in Indigenous values.
It's giving me some serious Avatar vibes, but with a unique twist.
Yeah.
This feels incredibly relevant, especially during Indigenous Month. We're
Right.
celebrating the resilience and adaptability of Indigenous communities.
Yeah,
And this film seems to embody that spirit perfectly.
absolutely.
What do you think?
I completely agree. It raises an important question for all of us, actually.
Ooh, I love a good thought-provoking question.
How can we use technology to honor and share our own cultural heritage?
Oh, okay.
Think about your own background, your family history,
great.
the traditions that have been passed down through generations.
Yeah.
What are the stories that deserve to be told? What are the values that need to be preserved?
Yeah.
And how can we use the tools we have available to make sure those stories and values are carried into the future?
Wow, that really hits home. I'm already thinking about all the stories my grandparents used to tell me about their childhoods and traditions. It's making me wonder if we could use AI to create something that captures those memories, maybe even translate them into another language so more people could experience them.
That's exactly the kind of thinking that this sparks.
Right.
It's not just about Indigenous communities.
Yeah.
It's about all of us finding ways to connect with our past
Right.
and share it with the world.
Yeah.
And as you said, technology gives us a powerful platform to do just that.
It's so inspiring to see how technology can be used to connect us to our roots, to bridge the gap between generations, and to share those stories with a wider audience. It's like opening up a whole new world of possibilities. Absolutely. And speaking of possibilities, have you checked out the Thunderbird Group's website?
I haven't lately.
They've got a ton of resources about Indigenous culture, technology, and even sustainable building practices.
Oh.
They're doing some really cool work with something called Thundercrete.
Thundercrete.
It's a type of concrete made with recycled materials and traditional Indigenous knowledge.
Wait, seriously?
Mm-hmm.
They're combining ancient building techniques with modern sustainability.
Yeah.
That's incredible. I'm definitely checking out their site after this. It sounds like they're walking the walk, not just talking the talk.
They really are. And it all goes back to that idea of weaving together tradition and innovation, showing that we don't have to choose one over the other. We can use the best of both worlds to create something truly remarkable.
This whole deep dive has been so eye-opening. It's made me realize that technology isn't just about gadgets and gizmos. It's a tool that can be used to amplify voices, preserve cultures, and build a more connected world.
And that's a powerful message to carry with us as we continue to explore the possibilities of technology. It's a reminder that we have a responsibility to use these tools wisely to create a future that honors the past while embracing the potential of the future.
Well said. I hope this deep dive has inspired you to learn more about Indigenous cultures and the amazing ways they're being celebrated this month and beyond.
And as we wrap up, I'd like to leave you with one final thought. What stories, traditions, or languages are important to you? How can you use technology to ensure those treasures are passed on to future generations? Keep exploring, keep innovating, and keep the conversation going.
Beautifully said. It's all about taking that inspiration and turning it into action. And on that note, thanks for joining us for another deep dive. We'll see you next time.